So if you're someone around my age, you know that being an extrovert has been glorified for most of our lives. The people who are very social, the people who are outgoing, who can make friends, this kind of qualities, these kind of traits have always been glorified, have always been highly rewarded. Whereas introverts, it's not really something that people glorify. It's more something that, you're just a quiet person, or, you're very reserved, that kind of thing. In this video, we're going to discuss some of the benefits of introversion and how you can use it to your advantage, how you can weaponize your introversion to get ahead of your peers instead of, use it's like being a crutch that's holding you back. So if you feel like you can relate, be sure to stick around. So very quickly, I just want to say, this video is not to, hate on any extroverts or, say that introversion is better than extroversion. It's rather just to help introverts enhance their qualities so that they can better see success in the fields that they want to progress in. So the first thing to cover is, what is introversion? So introversion means that you find energy and that you recharge from being on your own, So you reconsolidate yourself. Introversion is not the way you behave in social interaction. That's not what introversion is. It's also not, it's not shyness. It's not being quiet. It's not being afraid of social interaction. That's not what introversion is. Introversion is the way you recharge, the way you find energy, and also the way you lose energy as well. For example, like being in large groups, being in very social environments can often be quite draining for introverts, especially if it's something that they don't feel like they fit in, or if it's, for example, for me, if I don't feel like I fit in, or if I feel like, there's a very large group, there's lots of people talking, I just get overwhelmed. I'm just like, you kind of just die, right? So that's what introversion is. But it's not shyness, and it's not the way you behave in the social interactions. For example, if I'm at a party and people are drinking, I might have some drinks, and like I might be very social and, talkative, going around talking to people, whatever else like that. Later people will come to be like, I had no idea, you're an introvert. You seem like very outgoing, but it's not the way you behave in a social interaction, right? It's the way you find energy. It's the way you recharge, and the way you lose energy as well. That's what introversion is. The first reason how introversion is very powerful is you don't need others. Most people are going to have different ideas than you, different opinions than you. They're going to hold you back, especially if you're very driven, especially if you're very dedicated. If you hang around people a lot, chances are you're going to become more like them. You're going to become less motivated. You're going to be less driven. Especially if these people are not like-minded, they're gonna be naturally pushing you in a way that you don't want to go. It's not that they're bad people. It's just the nature of things. So most people are gonna hold you back. So with introverts, it's better to embrace the fact that you don't really need these people. Maybe it's good to see them once in a while, but you're better off on your own for most of the time. The need for others is very unreliable as well. People are very unreliable. People, it's a giant variable to rely on somebody else. It's not that nice, and also it's very weak too. Think about it. You're relying on somebody else for something. It's very weak. It's better to be independent. Being independent is much stronger because it's reliable and it's consistent. You can maintain the variables. You can limit the amount of variables that are in your life, and you can then use that to progress yourself meticulously because you only have a few things to work on. The saying, you can't have too many cooks in the kitchen, right? When you're an introvert, if you're only working with yourself, it's just you, so you can express all your ideas, all your values freely. Whereas if you were working with somebody else, let's say you're working on a business with somebody else, now you have to account for and accommodate their ideas, their values. A lot of times that can be contradictory, and that can lead to a lot of issues. So being an introvert, being able to be on your own, being comfortable being on your own, being independent is very, very powerful. That you don't have to rely on others. Okay, so you can outwork, outthink, and outsmart everyone else. So you literally recharge by being on your own. So think about it. Being on your own recharges you. So you don't have the desire, the need to go out into like a social setting and waste a lot of time, waste a lot of money, waste a lot of energy. I'm not saying it's always a waste to do these things, but usually it is. And if it's not progressing your goals, like what's the point? Most of the time, it doesn't really do much for you. Being an introvert, you charge up on your own. So as long as you're very dedicated, you're very driven, you don't have FOMO, you're pushing towards your goals, it's much easier for you to do your deep thinking, your deep work. You reach that flow state, reach heightened levels of creativity. I don't know if you guys can relate, but I feel like when I was younger, before like technology existed, before the phones, like if I would like just have so much time to think, I would just start to think of like all these kind of like random inventions that I would make, right? I feel like nowadays we don't really have inventors. Like we just have too much technology, so no one really wants to invent anything. But for introverts, you can reach heightened levels of creativity. You can do deep work. You can do deep thinking. These things you can achieve these things much more easily than your peers because you are comfortable in solace in solitary environments, right? So you can use this to your advantage rather than trying to look at what the other person's good at, which is like socializing, right? If it comes when it comes to problem solving, when it comes to solving puzzles, for example, math equations, coding, you can use this to become extremely innovative when it comes to these finishing these kind of puzzles, right? Like for example, me, I found a lot of success when I was younger with like math and stuff, and like maybe a little bit when I got older with coding as well. You can use your capabilities to push yourself above your peers when it comes to being innovative and problem solving. Basically, the point I'm trying to make is if you're able to motivate yourself to stay committed to one task long enough, you can dominate that field, especially when it comes to similar minded extroverts. When it comes to the work, like you can outwork them, you can outthink them because naturally that kind of tendency comes to you. So you have no excuse to lose out in this kind of field in that regard. All right, so we need to make sure that we harness it meticulously and that we use it to all its maximum advantage rather than just accepting it for what it is. So how do we do this? Plan meticulously. Make a plan. So when you have a plan and you can stick to it, you can work the whole day and make every single hour productive. If you don't have a plan, what's going to end up happening is most of the hours of the day, you might have like 2 hours of productivity, but most of the hours of the day, you're going to spend thinking of what you should do. You're going to spend time, you're going to waste time because you have so many different things that you're thinking of. You're not going to achieve a flow state because you're always going to be switching your tasks constantly. And more often than not, you're just not going to get too much done. So it's much better to have a plan so that way you'll have every single hour of the day count. If you can just think on your own, literally stare at the wall or stare out a window, you can think. Your imagination, your brain is much more powerful than you realize. It's much stronger than you realize. It's just that right now it's controlled by dopamine instead of like, the creativity, the imaginative state that you need to get to so that you can realize how powerful it is. If you can just think, if you can just, not look at any screens for like 2 hours, look out a window, stare at a wall, it's very powerful. Staring at a wall is very, very powerful. Think about it. If, let's say there's an extroverted guy and there's me, okay? The extroverted guy, he's talking with his friends, he's chilling. Let's say 3 hours before the gym, he's just chilling with his friends, he's talking, they're talking about their next set. They're actually doing something productive. They're talking about how to hit their next sets. They're talking about, the form. They're talking about things that actually matter, right? In the gym. And let's say 3 hours before the gym, I'm staring at the wall, right? I'm just staring at the wall for 3 hours. We both go to the gym. Who do you think is going to win? Okay? We both go to the gym. That guy's been constructively talking about the gym. He's talking about the form. He's talking about, the exact weight he wants to do. He's talking about all these things. I've been staring at the wall. Who do you think is going to win? It's going to be me, bro. I was staring at the wall. I was, all this time I was curating like my focus, my dedication, my passion, my emotions. I was ready. I was getting angry. I was getting whatever. I was thinking. I was imagining what was going to happen. They might have learned one or two things by talking with each other. They haven't really done too much though compared to me. I was staring at a wall. How can you beat me? I was staring at the wall for 3 hours. How can you beat me? You can't. So journaling is very important if you find that you lack motivation or purpose. If you find it hard to stay motivated, if you find it hard to stay motivated, like you're always getting sidetracked, you don't really feel that driven towards your cause, or let's say you find you have trouble finding your purpose, you're not exactly sure what you want to do. Journaling is very, very powerful. I'll make a whole video on this later. Journaling is very, very powerful. So just do your work. Just get to work. As an introvert, what if you can get to work and you can, get into the habit of getting into a deep work state or a flow state, it's going to be very powerful because you are going to have much more opportunity to achieve that flow state than your peers. So think about it. If you were to achieve a flow state, a deep work state every single day on one task, and those effects would compound drastically. You can see incredible results within a short period of time. Exercise. So make sure you're exercising. As an introvert, I feel like I can beat other people because I'm introverted, because I'm so well concentrated. I'm so focused. I'm able to focus so much harder than other people. I can like I said before, like I've been staring at the wall for 3 hours. How can you beat me? You can't beat me. You've been scrolling on your phone, you've been talking to friends, you've been doing whatever. I was staring at the wall for 3 hours. You can't beat me. So for exercise, you can, I mean, not only is it just healthy, you don't have to make it a competition. Just make it part of your routine. But if you want to, you can make it a competition. And for me, that really motivates me more to do it more. And it also is something that, I like to pursue when it comes to just who I am as a person as well, if that makes sense. Make sure you're mindful with everything you do. So as an introvert, if you're sitting by yourself, it's very easy to get distracted, not only with your phone or with your computer, YouTube, whatever, YouTube, Netflix, whatever, but also you can get very distracted just in your own thoughts. You can get caught daydreaming. You can, get caught thinking about things that don't matter. You can get caught in like random sidetrack tasks that are not part of your plan. So make sure you're very mindful of what you're doing. Don't get caught daydreaming. Daydreaming and thinking are two very different things. Daydreaming, it looks like this. Like it's like driven by like your subconscious. Like it's just a random train of thoughts that's going on while you're just dazed. Thinking is when you're actually thinking about something meticulously. You're with like a lot of curiosity and you're exploring it. You're analyzing that thought. So that's a difference. That's very important. Make sure you're not like daydreaming. You're not wasting time. So yeah, don't do any, obviously, and like goes without saying, lastly, don't do any of like the bad habits. Don't like scroll through your phone. Don't watch Netflix, message girls, whatever else. Like you don't need to be wasting like tons of time on these kind of things. These things are going to hold you back and they waste a lot more time than you realize. All right. So we talked about how to harness it. Let's talk about how to actually practically apply it, how to use it. So select your goal, what you want to focus on. So if you have trouble selecting that goal, your long-term goal, remember, just journal a lot, find your purpose, find your your inner values, your beliefs. Keep journaling until you find the goals, until you find your purpose. Then you can set your goals based on your purpose. Identify the steps that you need to accomplish that goal. So break that goals down into smaller goals, monthly goals, weekly goals, daily goals. If you can do that, it becomes much easier to follow the plan. The plan becomes much more clear. Build your way up. Success becomes inevitable. Delay your gratification. Understand that long-term goals take a lot of work. I think a lot of people in today's day and age, including me sometimes, have trouble delaying gratification. We can't do work now knowing that we'll see the results 6 months from now. It's really hard. If you want to see the results now, that's why people struggle at the gym. That's why people struggle with a lot of other tasks and getting ahead in life as well. So you need to be able to delay gratification. You need to be able to work now and see results 1 year down the line, 6 months down the line, 2 years down the line. Who knows how long it's going to take, but that's why it's very important to stay motivated, stay disciplined. Make sure you're choosing your goals. Make sure you choose your purpose. Make sure you understand your purpose well. Lastly, you need to have a strong mindset. You need to have a very strong mindset because things are going to go wrong. Things are always going to go wrong. You're always going to experience setbacks. So you need to have a very strong mindset. You need to be able to overcome these challenges and adapt to the new, to what you learned. You need to be able to apply your learnings and from your experience. So bad things are always going to happen. You need to have a strong mindset. Also, another reason you need to have a strong mindset is once you start pursuing your purpose, everyone's going to hop on your meat, man. I'm telling you, especially if you're a quieter person, people are always going to want to know exactly what you're doing. People are going to know why you're doing it, what exactly you're doing. They want to box you in so they can, they can kind of put you in this category and then they can just attack you from the side and, like they can talk bad about you or whatever. So everyone's going to hop on your meat. Don't worry about it. You need to have a strong mindset to persist through these kind of things. Anyways, guys, that's bringing us to the end of this video. It's not a hate on extroverts. It's just to uplift any introverts, to help them. I'm using my experiences and my knowledge to help you. Maybe if you guys have any other suggestions, if you're an introvert, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts on this video are. If you have anything else to add, please add it in the comments below. With that being said, if you liked the video, please drop a like. Subscribe if you're not already. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.